Hello and welcome to From Field to Skin, a series of interviews chronicling Ash Alberg's adventures in the Canadian fibre shed. Our 9th episode features Belfast mini mills and was recorded in August 2018 on unceded Mi'kmaq territory, and also features footage from Fleece and Harmony and Longway Homestead. You can find Belfast mini mills online on Facebook and Instagram, or visit www.minimills.net. For more, follow at From Field to Skin on Instagram or visit fromfieldtoskin.com. And we're currently at Belfast Mini Mills up the street from Fleece and Harmony, or I guess they're down the street from you.
Yeah.
In Belfast, PEI.
Yes, my name is Linda Nobles. I'm one of the owners of Belfast Mini Mills. We started about 25 years ago. We were living in BC. We had a small flock of Angora goats and mixed sheep, and we were quite proud of them. We were breeding up for good fibre, and when we sent our fibre away to a big mill, we didn't get our own fibre back, and we understood that because they would batch white to white, so they were put through huge batches.
Yeah.
But it wasn't much incentive to have our own, good fleece. So we saw the need for small equipment, and now we're in 40 countries. 230 installations.
Wow.
And it's getting bigger and bigger every year.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, presumably somebody in the family is an engineer and developed it?
No, they just had those great minds that they could figure things out. So it was my dad, Larry Sutherland, my husband, Doug Nobles, and my brother, Clive Sutherland, that started the company.
Okay.
And Clive is retired. Dad has passed away. But there's still 8 family members out of the 22, so it's 3 generations still going.
Wow, that's amazing. And so you said that you guys are in 40 countries?
40.
So you are shipping this machinery all over the world then?
Yes, so quite often somebody will come and visit me and get the feel of what they're dealing with and what they're getting themselves into, but they usually go home wildly excited, and then we set up on site and we give 2 trainings on site, and then next time, obviously if you live in Australia, you're not going to get as many visits as you are if you're in Maine.
Right.
But our truck circles the States 2 or 3 times a year.
Okay.
But if we are in Australia, we contact every mill and say, do you need a stop? If something happens and they do need a special trip over there, that's going to cost them a little more. But if we're in the country, we prorate it to all the stops, so it make it as inexpensive as possible.
Cool.
And that is what has made us so successful, is our backup, because it's a big investment. There's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
In a big mill, you'd have one job. In a mini mill, you have to know everything from lambing to wet bedding to parasites to dyeing, everything.
Right.
But that's what makes it really fun. You never stop learning.
Yeah. So how many, if I was starting a mini mill, we won't get into the cost because I'm sure that varies from country to country as well, but at least as far as shipping goes. But if I was starting a mini mill, what are the basic machines that I would need to get in order to run it?
Well, that's kind of a hard question because they're modular. So some people are just dealing with maybe commercial fiber that's already been washed, and they can have a small configuration. But for a big mill, you would have a wash system, drying racks, a picker, a dye vat, a dehairing machine, which is crucial because we're able to do a lot of pet fibers, muskox, cashmere, a lot of double-coated fibers, so that removes vegetation and coarse hair.
Okay.
Then, of course, the staple machine is the carder. That's the heart of the mill.
Yeah.
And then if you're going to spinning, it would be a draw frame, a spinner, plier, cone winder, steamer, skein winder.
Oh my God. But you can fit everything in pretty small places, because I think Fleece and Harmony has every machine, right?
Yes, they do.
And it's a fairly small, it's a compact operation.
Yes, well, we say a double car garage would fit a mill, but then you've got to think of storage of fiber, and quite often people forget that fiber coming in is a lot bulkier than when it goes out, so that is a consideration to have storage space. But people have set up in residential areas. It takes the same power for a regular house, so you don't need 3-phase or anything. Water consumption's about that of a normal household. So we've made it the mills so that they fit into a lot of different
kinds of spaces.
Yeah, exactly.
That's super cool. So, I mean, in theory, every single tiny portion of a fiber shed even could, if they had the funds, then they could have mini mills on site so that they're able to be processing.
Yeah.
So do you find, like, I think we were just chatting about how it's really helped with some of the heritage breeds and then the endangered breeds where they're living in areas where there's there's not that many of them left, and then there's also the shipping to a large mill.
Well, where the fleeces just get mixed up with everybody else's.
Right,
there was no
exactly.
incentive to try to keep some of these breeds. But the neat thing now is people like yourself that like to travel are going to these remote places, and the people there want to have something to sell. So whether it's sweater designs from hundreds of years ago, you're getting a taste of the culture, and it's disappearing without the mini mills. So we really feel that we've made a huge impact. In South America, we're in a lot of remote areas. So because all the young people were leaving the villages, now with the mini mills being set up, it's kind of brought industry back to these remote places.
Cool.
And tourists are making the trek out there and buying stuff.
Ah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And that, I could be totally wrong here, but Iceland just got a new mini mill. Is that you guys?
Yep.
Amazing.
Huge success.
I'm so excited. When I was in Iceland last summer, then I was chatting with a number of people about, there's politics of Iceland's fiber shed that I won't get into, but the not having a mini mill and just having Alphos was really impacting the quality of how the farmers were treating the fleeces.
Well, the nice thing about Icelandic sheep is they come in so many different colors.
Yeah.
But the commercial mills will only process white.
Yeah.
So they were dyeing the wool for the traditional Icelandic sweaters.
Yes.
Which is crazy. So now they're going backwards, and
they're actually able to now start processing each of those fleeces. That's amazing. So what do you guys find ends up being the most common, I don't actually know if there's any sort of pattern to it, but what's the most common thing that ends up happening where people are they trying to do single fleeces? Are they trying to just have something that can fill in the gaps of the larger mills? What tends to be?
Well, our niche market is keeping each fleece separate because with all the different colors of alpaca, 24, 26 colors, all the different colors of the sheep, pet fiber. People will bring in 1 pound of Persian cat, and it's a precious little bit. It's taken them a long time to collect that. So we don't say that we can do the tonnage that the big mills can do, but they cannot do what we can do. But we can put through a lot in a year. I mean, it's thousands of pounds of fiber that gets processed.
Amazing. That's so cool.
And every kind of fiber that you can imagine.
Right.
So long-haired German Shepherd, Samoyed, Husky, Sheltie, Himalayan cat. Just, it's crazy.
That's amazing. And you guys, I saw that you have some kiviot on site. So were you guys able to process the kiviot?
Oh yes, no problem.
Amazing. So the plan for the rest of this episode is I'll actually be going and seeing each of the machines and seeing them running. But I feel like this has provided some really great context for what everyone is about to see. Is there anything else that you feel is important for people to know about Belfast mini mills?
Well, I can tell you how much a mill is worth.
That would be great.
Between 150 and 250,000, depending on the configuration. We have smaller of some of the machines, like the spinner. We make a 12 spindle, an 8, and a 4. So there's different setups for people. So. And sometimes they don't want to go all the way to the spinning. They feel comfortable just carding and batting and roving, and then they can add as they go. And that is the nice thing. As your business grows, which it will, you can keep on adding to the machines to where you feel that there's a bottleneck. So
that's smart.
It's a very viable business, and people are happy to see that we don't just have a shiny showroom and say, well, good luck to you.
Yeah.
We're living the life that we're promoting. So
Right.
we run our mill year round.
Yeah.
And it was funny with Fleece and Harmony because people would come and they'd say, did you know there's a mill down the road? It's not a hostile invasion into our territory. Yes, we know, and we're both run off our feet, and
Yeah.
it's made Belfast more of a destination. So,
Yeah, totally.
and the same with the Fibre Trail. Everybody's working together on the whole island, so
Amazing.
that's pretty nice.
So I guess one more question then for anyone who is watching this who's thinking maybe they want to start a mill. Now they know the cost. So if they get in touch with you and everything is a go and they get the financing, about how long is it before they have their equipment?
Well, we have a working list because
Okay.
people have a plan, say in 6 months they're going to have a building ready. Quite often it doesn't happen that fast,
Yeah.
or if it does happen faster and they're ready sooner, we just kind of shuffle people around. So you
Okay.
get your name on a list,
Yeah.
and when it gets to be about 3 months from actual delivery, then we ask for a deposit. So we have this fluid list going.
Right.
We invite people to come here and spend a day with me. There's no charge for that.
Cool.
We want you to be comfortable with the decision that you're making.
Yeah.
And that works very well, and they get to meet the family and everything, and so it's not just a voice at the end of the phone, it's
Yeah.
real people.
Cool.
And I'm not sure what the booking is. I think we're booked up for like a year ahead now.
Okay.
But that list can change. So.
Right. Okay. That's perfect. So for anyone who is interested, I will make sure that the contact information is in the post about how to get in touch with you guys. Thank you so much for having me. I know you guys are about to have a really busy day, so.
Well, I'm croaky because I'm giving back-to-back tours for days.
Oh my
so
goodness.
a little bit hoarse, but
Yeah,
and
this
that's
was
one thing we do is we give a free tour through the mill
Cool.
just for all the visitors that come,
Yeah.
so that they get an understanding of what we're all about.
Amazing. This is so great. And very cool that this is happening based out of Canada. This is super cool. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me. I really, really appreciate it. And like I said, anyone who wants to get in touch with you guys, I'll make sure that the contact information is available.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Great. Next up, we are about to see equipment in use at both Fleece and Harmony and Longway Homestead. Any shots that you see with white fiber are from Fleece and Harmony, and the brown is actually knocking back to episode 8 with developing a new sock yarn, and it is the Wensleydale Romney fleece and mohair being spun up at Longway Homestead. So I hope that you enjoy, and you'll find a link to Belfast Mini Mills page on their equipment where you can actually see all of the different machines in use. In particular, in these shots, we see the carder, the spinners and pliers, as well as the steamer, the cone winder, and the fiber separators and die vats in use. So I hope that this is useful. And if you are interested, of course, in starting your own mini mill, then check out the show notes as well for who to contact at Belfast Mini Mills to have that conversation. quite rough.
slowly swirl this and make sure the color's in the water evenly. Because again, like if there's any little floating sections that are deeper, they might strike and make it uneven.
Right.
And
There's so little even in there.
Yeah, so especially since it's so light, I want to make sure I get it off. So then I just lower it almost. Grab it by my strings, which I improvised because I didn't want to leave while those people were talking to us. And then I always start with the route. And that gives me the best chance of getting them in quickly and getting them where I want them so that they're not interfering with each other. And then I always jiggle where the string is to make sure it opens up so that you don't get a string line. And that's that. This is obviously a very small batch. So everything's nice and loose and flowy, not restricting one another's. And that's it.
Cool.
Like the burger.
I'm going to step slightly further away.
Slowly in this case because the water's so I always turn it up to max because I'm an impatient person. And what's interesting about this is as cold of water as you can get out of a PEI well, and you can see the green has already struck a bit. So that's why if I put it in hot, you have like a strike
immediately, right?
Yeah. So I just gotta check